So Pamela Longobardi is a visual artist who has basically dedicated her career to thinking about the relationship of art, science, and the environment. She studied as a painter. In college, she was she was a biology and an art student. And she got her MFA at Tyler School of Art and has been working at Georgia State University for most of the time. I'm not sure if that was her first job or not, but and so she has actually had the great fortune to travel around the world and to document through artwork the sort of environmental crisis of plastic pollution. And I met Pam because I became involved with an environmental group called the Plastic Pollution Coalition. The CEO of that is an artist herself. And because of that, I started being introduced to many different artists in plastic who worked in plastic. And it wasn't just the kind of, like sea turtles made out of, Tide bottles kind of thing, although there's plenty of that, but really incredible abstract art. And some of it is sort of explicitly activist, some of it's not. And there's, a variety of opinions about that. But Pam is someone who does both in that, but she's more on the activist side. Some of it's, well, I'll show you some images. She was born in 1958, so she's more or less my age. And she's really a fascinating person. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody more passionate about what she does than Pam. She works with beach and trash plastic. Right? So she doesn't just like collect her own stuff and turn art into it, although some people do that, but rather part of her traveling is to go to these places around the world, some of them extremely remote, and pick up this trash. I think a lot of people get involved in plastic pollution stuff. They start out by cleaning beaches, right? And but it gets to a point where you realize, well, that's the scale of the problem is so immense that just doing that isn't going to do much. I'm sorry to say. So for her as an artist, this idea of communicating the sense of crisis, the sense of the damage that's happening to the environment, and trying to kind of get people to care, or, trying to communicate the kind of emotion that she felt when she confronted this, but then also trying to push people toward asking themselves, to self-reflect about why is this happening? What do I have to do with it? Do I have anything to do with this? And just maybe going on and doing some work themselves and finding out what this crisis is. So this is a picture I took actually, and that's Pam. Do we want to put lights down? There we go. Pam and I went to a conference together in Lesbos, Greece, a little island of Lesbos. And this is where 500,000 refugees, right, from Syria, Afghanistan, Somalia, I'm trying to remember where else we found people coming from, Saudi Arabia, where refugees were coming, all those ones that you've heard about who were like kind of supposedly invading Turkey and then Greece and then Germany and the rest of Europe. Many of them landed on this tiny island of Lesbos, which has like 50,000 inhabitants. So imagine 500,000 people over the course of a couple of years landing in little boats with life jackets on and showing up at your shores. So one of the results of that was, the refugees would arrive, they would pull off their life jackets. These are all boats they came in. These are, you know, these rubber raft kinds of things, which they would either puncture before they got there, like while they were still in the water. Why? Because if you get picked up and you're in the boat still, you can be sent back to where you came from. Yeah. If you puncture it and you're in the water, you have to be picked up, right? So that's why they're all punctured. And so what, you know, what to do with all this stuff? I mean, one of the ironies of for being interested in plastic pollution is that most of the stuff is made out of plastic, you know, parts of it are, or all of it is. And it, you know, there was a kind of encirclement of Lesbos, you know, 50 feet out with this stuff. And so they finally thought, well, we're just going to put it in one place. So they created what they now call the graveyard of life vests. And it is, you can't even see how high this is. We're actually standing on top of it, but it's like a mountain of life jackets. And it's so moving because obviously, like every single one of those things represents a life. And most of them made it, but some of them didn't. And if you, I don't know if I happen to have one of these in there, but if you see, like, see a really bright pink one out there somewhere, the kids had like little floaty things on them. Not made for the ocean, right? So, so I actually did a kind of, we actually got into a refugee camp. Pam is very determined. If she wants to do something, she's going to do it. And she got us permission to go in. And we did a kind of art project there. The kids there had collected beach plastic, and she kind of rounded them up together. And she rounded them up, and she did she created some art with them. And I took pictures of that and assisted. So, whoops. Okay, yeah, this one. Pam also is very sort of communications savvy, and so she has, fortunately for you, anyone who wants to work on her, a very an extensive website, and she has created various kinds of extended or multi-year projects. One of them is the Drifters Project, which has gone on for something like 10 years now. Drift is what they call marine garbage that's sort of floating around, right? So all the stuff that's floating in the ocean now is called drift. And so Drifters Project, right, was her project of, you know, finding, my standing completely, was sort of finding and gathering and creating art out of the plastic, but also wherever she goes, she tries to work with the communities, right? She has persuaded a number of communities, including on another Greek island, Kefalonia, to do what she calls plastic audits. And she has gotten like businesses, the local government, you know, just normal citizens, kids at school to participate in this, and then goes back each year for a couple of years and then works with them to A, create some communal art out of this, but then B, also to help, you know, to help them think about, okay, well, how do we change this? I mean, a lot of these sort of islands and things, they depend on tourist money, right? So they don't want plastic all over the place. They don't want to have to spend money cleaning it up all the time. So, you know, working to advocate for like some kind of plastic-free policy, which some of them have done, or, you know, some kind of, you know, reduction plan, and actually including tourists in it too, you know, kind of making it something that they present to tourists as something they're doing to try to preserve this beautiful landscape. So this is actually a current exhibition that's on up in, well, yeah, over in New York City. Okay. Pam also was part of an exhibition that took place here last year, Plastic Entanglements. Did anybody see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. So that was proposed by yours truly, I have to say. And so this was her piece that was in that exhibition. It's called Economies of Scale. This is all the stuff that she collected. This piece is 20 feet long. And so the smallest piece down here is like literally this big. It's called a nurdle. It's a piece, it's a sort of pre-production plastic pellet. They create the plastic into pellets, and then those get, because it's easy to ship, those get melted down and turned into all the things that we use. So, and all the way over here, these four, I think at least, are actually tsunami drift from Japan. And they know that because, you know, it came up on the, I think most of this came from one of the beaches on Hawaii, Camilo Beach, which is completely trashed with plastic. But they can see, you know, company logos, they can see who manufactured these buoys. So, and actually she tries to do that with all of these pieces. And there's when we displayed the piece, there was actually a QR code that you could click on, and it would tell you everything she had found out about each of these pieces.
Oh, wow.
Right? And if she couldn't, you know, and sometimes it was only where she found it and what it's made of. So she was, you know, and that was all she knew. You know, she would try to find logos. She would try to. Sometimes you can't even tell what the thing is, right? So, but any information she could find about any of this, she created a site for that you could look at as you're going through each one. And this is what her painting looks like. I just threw that in there so you could see.
Jennifer, do you have some of those secondary and third sources on
I do.
CAM, and
yeah,
that we can?
Well, for one thing, sorry, didn't need to do that.
Because this morning they all learned, like, you can't put like original research or
Oh yeah, you told me that.
the conflict
yeah.
of interest things. So
Yeah.
what to? So in this case, Tam Longobardi does not even have a page, right?
What do you mean?
Or does she? She does not even have a Wikipedia page, right?
No, she does not. Yeah.
Does not. So this is one of those that we have to create a page. And Elida did well with Evelyn Sturmitz. She's got that page. Elida, you got that? Evelyn Sturmitz, new media artist from Austria. She's added that. And did you put the URL on the document? Okay.
I did.
And so now we need to start a page for Pam Longobardi. And we just need to start that page, and then after that, then we will have the some of the information you have. Once it's started, it can get built.